Alright guys, welcome back to the life update. This life update is the first one in the series. It was inspired by Jack D, because he mentioned that it's going to make me really good at articulating things, talking about my life, just talking about what I want to do, and I really agree with them. I want to be better, so that's why I'm doing this. I don't know whether I'm going to keep doing this or whether I'm even going to remember the fact that I am doing this. So, the consistency of these kinds of life updates, or the just the consistency, or just the form, just everything logistical about these kinds of life updates is up in the air. Unsure. We'll see if when I make the next one, maybe in a month or so. But anyway, let's get into it. So let's start with school, right? Because or actually let's start with Common Apps, because or the college essays stuff, because that's been taking up a good chunk of my time these days. So I'm applying to like what, nine schools EA, nine schools EA. I was going to apply to six EA, but I was like, wait a minute, what if I get fucked by UNC? Then I kind of have to do more. So that's why I'm doing three more. Which honestly, I don't. I'm probably not even gonna go there, but might as well. I have the time. So I'm working on those. I have like five essays or so left before I'm like done for EA, which is nice. So yeah, one thing that's interesting though, however, is that there's so many people who like come to me. I haven't talked to them in a long time. They come to me and be like, "Yo, can you read my essay, please?" I'm like, I mean, like, sure. I mean, I like reading essays. Essays are cool to read, but it's also like I haven't, like, yo, I haven't talked to you in a year, but you're like, yo, can you read my essay? I'm like, okay, fine, right? There's that. There's that going on, which is funny, but yeah. So college apps, cool. They're just part of life. Let's talk about school now, where I'm currently taking two classes at school, two classes physically at school, where one's AP Lit and one's German three. So AP Lit, chill class, teacher's extremely chill, very pretty funny, I would say. uh, no homework at all, no homework whatsoever. And in class, we just watch videos, like just read, or just like talk about random like life events or whatever. So it's a very chill class, like very low key. Sometimes I get my math homework done there, which I will get to soon. Um, and yeah, my German class, however, is a bit more interesting because of the fact that I'm the oldest guy there. Is that it's supposed to be a class for mostly sophomores and juniors, but since I'm a senior, I'm in there. And I haven't taken since I only taken 2 years of German. I've been taking that class, right? So what's interesting about that class is that they do don't they do they're just the kids doing a bunch of dumb shit. So for example, this one guy was telling me in extreme detail, in explicit detail, about how he hooked up with his ex after homecoming, which was a few days ago, and then she proceeded to bite him in multiple places, because I guess they're freaky like that. So he decided he like decides to like show to take off parts of his shirt. He's like, yo, look at these bite marks. And I'm like, cool. So there's that kind of weird shit going on. Yeah. So also German's a very easy class. Like he's so lenient with grading. The teacher's very lenient with grading, and it's pretty fun. I'd say I like learning German. So yeah, the two classes that I'm taking that are not at school, I'm dual enrolling. One of them is Calc 3. One of them is writing an inquiry, which hasn't started. But regarding Calc 3, that's a lot of busy work, like a lot of busy work, because he doesn't really check the stuff for really, like, even the quizzes and the tests. Like, you can just the quizzes and tests. They're basically like a PDF that you can just access like whenever you want. Do it whenever you want. Do it with whoever you want. Do it, like, literally, you can do whatever the hell you want with a PDF. You can cheat. You can cheat your way through, and no one here, like, he wouldn't know, or like he doesn't really care. He's just like, oh yeah, does it look good enough? He's like, and he gives you like a full grade. So it's very easy to get an A, but it's just a lot of busy work, a lot of stuff you have to do. But it's like whatever. Um, I'm also taking an introduction to operating systems and networking class, although I'm currently in the operating systems part, not the networking. And I will say it's a very interesting class in terms of understanding like the pieces and components behind an operating system, although it's very limited in scope. And each of the parts of the class are taught in individual segments, so there's no really interconnectedness between like things that the concepts that are taught. So, for example, I know a lot about like POSIX threads, or like multi-threads. I know a lot about how like operations are scheduled on a CPU, but I don't know how I'm gonna combine those two. I have no idea how like things work together. Like if someone was like, "Yo, can you make a very basic operating system?" I would be like, "I have no clue." And I think they very much cherry pick. They cherry pick the kind of topics that they're teaching. So it's like I don't even know if that's like the full picture of what an operating system is like. I'm sure there's so much more that goes beyond just threads and like that kind of stuff. But that's just kind of what the class focuses on, which it's what it is. But I would rather have it be something that's more broader in perspective. But it's whatever. So those are my classes. let's talk about some of my ECs because I think that that's kind of what I also devote a lot of my time to. I recently submitted my paper for submission or to a journal. Hopefully, they'll get back to me regarding like first round of edits soon, hopefully. So that's cool. And then I also participate in my youth orchestra at the city, and it's really really humbling being in there because you're always like it's really really humbling in there. And it's considering that I'm second violin, because I kind of threw this year's audition. Or last year I was first violin because I actually was grinding violin back in the day, but I I basically quit violin and I just like did an audition like after a year of like literally not touching like after like a year of not like no like like official teaching. Um, just did an audition, so I kind of threw that one. Now I'm second violin, but it's like whatever. I don't really care. But it's humbling to see like if, I swear to God, he's like 12. He just comes out. He like pulls out like the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto, like Introduction and Rondo Capriccioso by Saint Saëns. So cool things like that. It's very humbling. I enjoy, but although I do and still enjoy playing the violin, it's like I enjoy going to the youth orchestra. It's fun. So yeah. So I've also been working on my. I've also been running like a computer science club recently, or I guess for the past year, but it started since school, and it's really interesting because the advisor he doesn't really care at all. It's like literally today we had a meeting and he just wasn't there. Like we usually have a meeting in his room. He isn't there in the room usually either. Like he lets us in, he opens the door, and then he just like leaves and does his own thing. But today he just wasn't even there. Like he wasn't even in the room. So we waited for a bit, but then we're like, fuck it. So then we just like went out, like commandeered a TV from some other room, brought it out to like the hallway, plugged it in, and I just like we just like talked about trees, and that was fun. It's cool. The people in CS Club are pretty cool. I enjoy spending time with them, even if it's just not even talking about CS. It's just chilling. I think they're really cool and fun to hang out with. Yeah, that's just kind of what's going on in my life. Let's talk about like some of my social life because it's non-existent essentially. A few things that are coming up. I'm going to Scarowinds this weekend, which is basically like Carowinds is the biggest theme park in the Carolinas, like the biggest amusement park with roller coasters and stuff in the Carolinas. And the Scarowinds version of it is like what happens in October, where they do like a lot of Halloween themed things from like 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. Like a Halloween themed things is like scary. It's supposed to be scary. I've never been there. Some people say it's underwhelming. Some people say it's pretty good. So we'll see how it is. So there's that. I am actually, to be fair, I am interested in like going on. Like there's this one roller coaster that's pretty big. Uh, I want to see how that is at nighttime because you can see like all the lights because you can see the downtown. You can see downtown from all over the top of the view. So I want to see all the lights. That would be really cool to see. That would be a very nice view actually. Now that I think about it, so I'm pretty excited for that. And then there's an opera. There's an opera the day after I go to Sierrawinds. So that's Puccini's Toccata, if that's how you pronounce it. I don't know Italian, but I really like that opera. Like that's a really cool opera. I've listened to like a good chunk of it, and I want to go watch it. And I've actually recruited some people to go watch it, like crazy enough, but it all depends on whether I can finish those 5 essays that I have remaining because otherwise my friends won't let me go, which is sad. So I am scrambling to finish those essays just so I can go watch the opera, which would be very nice, very prima. Um, yeah, aside from that, my social life is pretty dang dry. Yeah, it's pretty dang dry. But I hope for the fact that after college apps and when I get my license, which will hopefully be soon, um, but it just depends on whether or not my dad keeps whipping out documents or not. Hopefully be soon, and then I'm gonna go party, just go hang out with friends more often. So that's the goal. Let's talk about just other stuff in my life. So for example, I've been reading a lot of manga these days. So for example, I read Oyasumi Punpun, and Oyasumi Punpun, as you may know, is something that's supposed to be very depressing, and like it's supposed to like leave you traumatized for like a week. But none of that really happened. It like heavily paled in comparison to 177013, which is a classic. But uh, people were like for example, Joey the Anime Man, he was like, "Oh, I was like traumatized for a week." I'm like, no, it's just like a little bit jarring towards the end, but it's like not that big of a deal. Like it's very basic or very, you know, understandable, expectable concepts that happened. So and also I didn't really like the main character. I just didn't like him at all. Like he was a part of his circumstances, but he also made a lot of decisions that I don't think any sane person would make. But again, he probably wasn't sane in the first place. Anyway, I'm also reading DeadTube. I'm also caught up with DeadTube and Kaguya-sama, which are both pretty good manga. And for anime, I'm currently watching Mob Psycho season 3, Spikes Family, and and Chainsaw Man, which is about to be airing soon. I'm excited for that. Lastly, I guess second to last on what I want to talk about, I am now a poker addict. I'm not surprised. I get addicted to a lot of things. Valorant being an example, which I'm silver two by the way, which is sad. I was like dropped down from silver three a few days ago, and I haven't clawed my way back up. But anyway, speaking of poker, I'm like down $66, and I'm $66 in the hole, I believe. And a majority of that stems from this one hand that I played yesterday. I played it to the best of my ability, but I just got really unlucky because I had a three pair of aces. I had a three pair of aces. Like, not sure that's a hella winnable, but this guy had a flush, which the chances are like, what are the chances, right? I played the best. I think I played to the best of my ability, but it is what it is. Poker is a game of luck after all, luck and skill, but in this case it was luck. And yeah, that's how I just like lost $25. So it is what it is. Lastly, what I want to talk about is my after college apps list. I'd be like trying to think of what I want to put in there. So one of them is to make a foot pic generator, and I've actually done a good amount of research into how to make like using a generative autoencoder or generative adversarial network to make feed pictures, because who doesn't love their feed pictures? So I'm gonna recruit my friends, just be like, yo, send me some feed pictures. I'm gonna put feeder into the network, make some feed pictures for you. Sourcing them from the internet is actually difficult because of the fact that the way people take pictures of their feet is not standardized, because they have, for example, some people will show their foot and their entire torso, like their tits or whatever, right? Some people will show like their feet in like a really goofy angle. So there's all kinds of stuff like that. So that's why I got to figure out, just get like a more standardized sample so I can be like, oh, here's a foot, cool. Yeah. And then the project that I'm thinking of doing, which I said I would do over the summer, but I just did not make much progress on, was to make something to open my garage door from outside, because it doesn't have like a code pad, like a numpad that you can enter like your code in, which is very, very confusing to me. But essentially what am I planning to do is to take this bad boy, like I have an Arduino, laying around that I've been sitting on for a while, this Arduino Uno, set up a web server on it, hook that web server up to an app, use some buttons to just open and close the garage door. Like, either see if I can get a way to like signal my garage door, like they get into the garage door signal, or if I can just like fucking make like manually like a motor that just like literally presses the garage door thing every time you press a button. So those two options are on the table. So yeah, I have a few exciting things coming up. Looking forward to finishing Common App or college essays, and then I'm gonna be chilling the rest of senior year, hopefully. So yeah, that is it for now. Who knows when the next live update would be? Maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months. Who knows? But see you guys later.